morning, everybody, and welcome to CEO Chat. My name is Al Cini, and look who's back.
Well, I'm Joe Asamendi.
Joe Asamendi is back from what I'm sure was a great vacation. And we hope you've all enjoyed your summer. And this CEO Chat is about the endless summer.
Right.
We're going to keep talking about summer and food. And we have two terrific guests. Michael Wilkerson is the CEO of Red Hot and Blue, which is a chain of restaurants. We'll talk about that. That's about food and community, and you've got a very unique brand, and we're excited about exploring that.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
And one of the franchise holders is the Holiday Inn in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and you're the general manager. Matt Knoll is the general manager of that Holiday Inn.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Great to have you both aboard. Let's start right off the bat with Red Hot and Blue. Describe the restaurant. Tell us what the experience is like.
You're only giving us a couple minutes, so I'll do my best to give the elevated version. When it comes to barbecue, it's very interesting because barbecue has this deep cultural roots, and when we think about Red Hot and Blue, we really do our part every day, or we try to honor those roots. And the way we think about barbecue is that it has so many different meanings. Mm-hmm. When you say come to our barbecue, it's coming to this big communal event, or let's put some food on the barbecue. That's a grill, or let's cook some barbecue tonight, and that's a flavor of cooking. Mm-hmm. And what we've done is, whether it's through service or whether it's through our menu, or even how we treat people through our core commitments and our guiding principles, we work hard every day to bring that into life into our restaurant. So we're very excited about what we're doing, and we have a new marketing campaign around Flavor of America. Okay. And I'll tell you, we're getting, you thought we were serious about barbecue before, we're getting even more serious, right? Yeah. So far so that we're going to name our smokers in all of our restaurants because they're a part of our family.
Okay. And any of them named Joe? Because I think
well, we might have a Billy Joe. So right now the restaurants are currently in the process of naming those smokers. Okay. And this is the reason, right? So these pieces of equipment, and I think they're not just pieces of equipment, they're part of the barbecue family. Okay. They have been producing great brisket and great smoked pork and pulled chicken for us for 17, 20, and 25 years in some cases. Mm-hmm. And the interesting thing about barbecue smokers is they all have a different type of personality, and they all cook a little bit differently. Okay. So there's this relationship that builds between the pit master and the smoker, and we thought, hey, our claim is that we're serious about barbecue, then we need to be serious and build a better relationship. So we haven't been great partners with our smokers. So we're going to name them, we're going to celebrate their birthdays, and find ways to celebrate them a little bit more.
So they're part of the crew, and someday maybe they'll ask for a raise, and you'll have to deal with that. Well, let's talk about the experience, because I know the food is terrific. And by the way, the chain itself is, I think, maybe 20 years old, 25 years old?
It is. We're actually getting ready to celebrate our 30th anniversary.
Wow, that's great.
So we were deeply rooted in the DC market, mm-hmm. and started out as a Memphis barbecue chain. Mm-hmm. A few guys that were involved on Capitol Hill really fell in love with barbecue, needed a place to hang out mm-hmm. after they got done on Capitol Hill, and so they decided to do this, and lo and behold, these guys got a hold of some great culinarians and built a wonderful product, and it exploded. So it stretched all over the United States. Now we're currently deeply rooted in the DC market, Dallas. Of course, we've got Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and our proud partner Matthew here. Mm-hmm. However, so we've been around, but we think that with what we do and what barbecue is right now, we think that we can be in other places too.
So we're very community oriented too, correct?
We are community oriented, and thank you for asking that. One of the things that we understand is that we have a be good, do good philosophy, okay. Right? Mm-hmm. And with passion, excellence, and authenticity. And I'll tell you, we have this neat document called the Constitution. And it represents our core beliefs. And we have 10 guiding principles, and just a couple of those would be, having courage to do the right thing, being committed, continuous improvement, and there are 7 others, and I won't bore you with those. However, with every decision that we make, we want to make sure that we run through that and we make decisions, but community is one of those major ones. And with Be Good, Do Good, the Be Good piece as it relates to the community represents that we want to be good at service, right? we want to be good at food. We want to be good at cleanliness because we understand the value of the customer's dollar. And we know two things about every guest, right?
Yeah, sure.
One, they had 100 other choices, but they chose us.
Yeah.
And two, they came in to spend their hard-earned money. And we work very hard to pay tribute to that. So not only in the restaurant, but the do-good piece outside of the restaurant is that we have a national campaign that we're working on right now where we're going to build parks in every community that we do business in.
Great idea.
So, we're going to have an American flag because Red Hot and Blue, flavor of America. It's the melting pot, and it really brings us all together like we think barbecue does. And we'll sponsor a couple of community events and barbecues, and love to give away some free pork sandwiches and some famous brisket. But also on a more localized approach on community involvement, our plan is to let our owners like Matt choose a great youth outreach. So whether it's the YMCA or Boys and Girls Club or 4-H, we identify there's always a need, and what a better place than to do it with the youth of America who will be our future leaders and future ambassadors of our nation. So we're very excited and proud of that.
So you're really celebrating your 30th birthday
Sure.
by refreshing the brand in some very fundamental ways, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
And that's great. And connecting with community is a big, big part of that.
Sure.
That's exciting. I mean, that really is exciting.
Yeah, so, to your point about, we feel really good about who we are today, right? But as the customer's needs evolve and with time restrictions, and not only that, but people want to eat in the comforts of their home. So we're thinking a lot about, from a business standpoint, on how do we serve the customers in the way that we want to be served, right? So, from just a simple branding approach, Al and Joe, a brand is no longer what a company tells their guests they are. It's what the guests tell them they are. So with us, while we're using our guiding principles as the beginning and the start of making decisions, we're very sensitive to listening to our customers and asking them what they want, and we have several processes that we follow in order to do that. But we really, really, really want to be the folks that pay them the best tribute and really honor them, because our guests, we really appreciate everything they do and come into our restaurants every day. It's truly an honor. Every day in our restaurants, people celebrate birthdays, they celebrate anniversaries. Occasional wedding proposal over a nice slice of brisket and pulled pork sandwiches.
Some of which we're getting a little later on.
And we understand that they're sharing these intimate things with us and bringing their families out, and we have a huge and tremendous responsibility on delivering on our promise and giving them exactly what they expect. So we're through that rebranding, we're saying we're good at what we do, but how can we be the best?
How can we be the best at
So
what we do?
that's what we're working on. We're
good.
great, but how do we be amazing?
That's great. Okay, now we're going to have to take a break soon. But before we do that, I want to get to Matt, because this might be our last chance to talk to you about what it's like to have a Red Hot and Blue at your location. What kind of a difference does it make?
Thank you, Al. Red Hot and Blue has been with us for 30 or probably 20 plus years.
Right.
Great partners, always a great amenity for our hotel guests and Cherry Hill alike, the community. So we embrace that. We really enjoy that, and we're going through a renaissance at the Holiday Inn too as well. We're doing some upgrading, some renovation work on the property to bring it up, as well as Red Hot and Blue. So it's going to be right matched line for line.
Oh, good.
With renovations and technology and all that goes with it that our customers are looking for.
So you're coordinating this renovation of the physical
We're
location
working all together.
to make Red Hot and Blue an integral part of that, and not
Correct.
just sort of a bolted-on part of it, which is great.
Convenient location too, right over 7.
It is.
You've been there, Joe. How's the food?
Food's excellent.
Yeah,
And by
that's
the way,
great.
you can take out when you want to.
Yeah, takeout. Yeah,
it's
we have
even
great takeout, and we also have function space, event space at the Holiday Inn.
Great.
Of course, guest rooms for
great.
the stay. Indoor,
For people who
outdoor
eat too
pool.
much and have to stay over.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's good. I've been there, done that.
One of the things, Matt is one of our most valued franchisees, and we're very proud of the partnership with him and the Holiday Inn. And what I'll tell you is that Matt, when I see him, he always reminds me that, hey, we have people from all over that stay with us, all over the U.S., all over the world, and they love the barbecue, and hey, how can we do this in other places? And I'll tell you that, having that relationship has really told us that, hey, we're on to something here.
Yeah, no,
and
for sure.
But I'll tell you, while we take our barbecue very serious, we take ourselves very lightly. So we like to have fun. We believe that fun is an ingredient of success.
Definitely.
You know, 15% of all working class Americans work in our industries, right? Food and hospitality. And one of the things that we really feel like is a great part of our relationship is that it's the only industries that I know personally where you can start off at the bottom. I started off as a dishwasher many years ago, and now I'm the president and CEO sitting with two great guys. And you know, and it's the same thing in the hospitality business. So we want to honor that and keep that alive as well in our restaurants. So, you know, for those folks that, you know, need a career path and have a great you know, attribute of the hospitality gene and being good with people, and are willing to work hard, you know, come see myself and Matt, and you never know what might happen.
That's an opportunity.
Work hard, have a great personality, and know how to smile.
That's
it could turn into a very bright future for some
great.
young folks.
Michael, we need to take a break.
Sure.
But when we come back, we're going to actually try the food from Red Hot and Blue. We're excited
Absolutely.
about that and learn a little bit about what goes on in the kitchen.
Thank you.
So,
Hope you brought your appetite.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm definitely looking forward to that. You're going to eat it all. I know it. We'll be right back with more CEO Chat in just a minute.
Stick around.
And we're in a new location. Our usual CEO Chat is the office set, and now we're in the kitchen set because we're about to have some terrific food. My name is Alfred Zini.
I'm Joseph Asamendi.
Joe Asamendi. And Michael Wilkerson is rejoining us. He's the CEO of Red Hot and Blue, which is a terrific chain of restaurants, and we're about to see what makes them so terrific. And joining us on the set,
Good morning. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning.
Kitchen handshake.
Mason Citarello, who is the Vice President of Culinary Innovation. So I imagine from that title, Mason, that your job is to refresh the menu, come up with new ideas, come up with better ways to prepare food, that continuous improvement you were talking about in the first segment.
Absolutely.
Making it all happen really is your job. And today in this segment, I think what you're going to do is give us an idea what goes on in the kitchen at Red Hot and Blue.
I'm going to do my best to give you an idea.
Let's
yours,
start.
Mason.
Yeah, let's start. What are we starting with here?
We're starting with what I think is in many ways one of the most intimidating pieces of meat out there in the barbecue world.
Okay.
It is a Packer brisket. It is what we like to call one of the most simply complicated pieces of meat that's out there because it's giant, it scares people, and the way it cooks can be it can be a little intimidating.
Okay.
First things first, you know, this weighs about between 11 and 12-ish pounds. I'll give you a quick overview of the anatomy of a brisket. You've got the flat, you got the point, and up under here we've got a big giant piece of fat that's the decal. What you want to do first is take it out of its package, get it as dry as possible, and then we're going to trim the fat layer across, and we're going to make it as even as possible so it cooks evenly. And the first bite to the last bite tastes just as delicious.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Okay.
So if you'll bear with me, I'm going to start trimming a bunch of fat away.
Whoa, here.
Yeah, it's very sharp knife.
Yeah, that's it. Everybody step back.
I watch a lot of food TV, so I think I'm okay with it.
No,
right?
I think that's good.
We're just going to start taking off the top layer for the most part, and go. Now, bear in mind, you can go as slowly or as quickly as you want to in your own home kitchen. And this piece of meat's actually available now, I have found, in most grocery stores. You might want to watch your right hand. I've been known to slip.
Okay.
And are there Band-Aids in here? We might need them. So I take off that fat layer, and what I'm looking to do is leave about 1/4 inch of fat approximately all the way around.
Is that the flavor?
It's got a couple of purposes, actually. What we look for when we do brisket or any other smoked meat and barbecue, is we like to look for a nice smoke ring. It's the amount of smoke that's going to penetrate in there. And the more even your fat layer and the more even this piece of meat is across the board, the more even that smoke ring is going to be. And then subsequently, the more evenly it's going to cook. So like I said before, that first bite and that last bite comes out pretty much the same. Now, as I get down into here, you're going to start to see some of the differences in the meat itself. And that plays an important role in the cooking process.
Okay.
So you see these striations, the way that muscle's running this way? That is something you kind of want to pay attention to now for how we're going to cut it a little bit later on. Now you see, I'm not cutting into the meat. All I'm taking away right now
Just the fat.
is the fat. And this is a fairly good amount of fat. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to just dump this in the trash right there. It's a fairly good amount of fat. And do you know where the brisket comes from on a steer?
No, but I'm about to find out. I have a feeling.
Comes from on a steer?
Good. Rear end?
Ooh,
Mr. Wilkerson, do you know where the brisket comes from on a steer?
No. Why don't you tell us, Mason?
Well, the brisket, if you're looking at the front of a steer, you know that big thing that just kind of hangs
yeah,
down
sure.
and waddles when the steer's walking? That's a brisket.
That's a brisket. Okay.
And it's super tough because, you know, that's
Yeah.
a piece right there.
Good.
So when you cook it, you want to go low and slow. Take your time, and you want to start to break down the fibers.
Okay.
And you want to break down this fat, and that fat's going to go down up in there, and what we say it lubricates it.
Okay.
So it makes it, what we think, is better across the board.
Juicier and
Juicier, more, you know, this is a technical culinary term, fall aparty.
Follow party.
Right.
Fall aparty is really important when it comes to barbecue.
That's trademark, folks.
have to remember that.
We, you know, one of the hallmarks of good barbecue is tenderness and juiciness. You ever bite into barbecue and it just falls apart in your hand, but it's super dry?
I've made barbecue that has done that, so,
So have
I'm
I,
learning.
actually.
Believe me, I'm learning a lot.
That's another sad thing or good thing about barbecue is no two pieces are the same.
Yeah.
And that's why we say it's simply complicated. Because you see, pretty straightforward piece of meat, pretty straightforward trimming process.
Good.
Okay, so I feel, big picture, for the top part, I'm pretty good.
Yeah, that looks great.
But now I'm going to start trimming my edges and making it a very uniform piece of meat across the board.
You train, I'm imagining that part of the training program for chefs at all of the Red Hot and Blue restaurants includes how to do exactly this.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's the quality of the result really is very much dependent on how you handle this part of the process, I'm sure.
This is, in my opinion, it's 50-50. How you treat it now is how you're going to get it when it comes out.
Really?
You know, you've heard, you know, garbage in, garbage out.
Right.
If you cook a bad product, it's going to come out to be a bad product.
Got it.
Here, we try to teach our cooks and our culinarians and our managers, and pretty much everybody, to respect the process and respect the meat itself. You know, this is what you're going to get, and this is what the guests are going to be served. And if you do a bad job with it, you're just serving bad product. So on this trimming, you see how this is just kind of a flap right here? When it smokes, this is going to get all dry, and it's got no value. So
okay.
as much as it pains me
That comes off.
to remove a little bit of that meat and trim it up as best as I can, not leaving those little bits. Although we like to leave a little bit for texture.
Okay.
So now I'm taking apart this little bit right back here. See, same thing, got sort of a little flap right there. I'll cut that off and even it out. And this, you know, the funny thing is when you're cooking barbecue, your meat prep is probably the most labor-intensive part of it. And then you're going to sit down and you're going to have a beer and eat some pork rinds for the next
That's my favorite part.
10 to 12 hours. And speaking of pork rinds, what we are doing, we've got something really exciting coming up for Hogtober. And if you haven't heard of October, you should ask somebody. Because in the barbecue world, it's a fantastic and exciting month. At Red Hot and Blue, we are going to be offering free pork rinds for all of our guests.
Oh, really?
Homemade pork rinds.
Homemade.
Homemade pork rinds. And it's coming with our signature sauces.
That's absolutely right. And I'll tell you that it goes pretty good with the Sam Adams Oktoberfest.
Sounds
They're
perfect.
great
Very
business partners, but whether they were or not, it's pretty tasty. So.
Oh, no, that's great.
One
And
of
this
the
is at
things-
every Red Hot and Blue.
Absolutely. So
right.
one of the things I'll tell you is that you know, you were talking about that training. We were talking about the continuous improvement over there, and we're currently developing a training program where we have different levels of mastery of barbecue. So we're not sure how that looks, but we could potentially have a yellow belt for the person that understands how to cut meat like Mason, and then a blue belt for the person that understands the seasoning, but then the infamous black belt for the pit master ninja,
The pit master
right?
ninja
So
who-
the master chef. So and guys, I tell you, we're so happy to be here. And we were telling you how we were going to name our smokers. It's going so well, I'm ready to tell you guys that we've decided to name our very first smoker after you gentlemen, and we're going to call the guy Alfred Joe.
Alfred Joe.
So when you come into
That-
the Cherry Hill location and you ask about Alfred Joe, they'll know that somewhere in the back, there's that family member, the smoker that's been with us for 20 plus years, kicking out great brisket and pork every day.
distinction that even my children don't
after
have.
you gentlemen.
I've got a smoker
hey,
named after-
huge responsibility, guys. We feed
That's-
thousands of people.
That's
right?
exciting.
So
That's
counting on
exciting.
you.
Would
That's
ever-
exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Great.
Absolutely.
Pleasure.
That's kind
Well,
of
thank Matt because Matt thought it was
It's a
great over
great
here
idea.
with. That's
Thank you,
right.
Matt.
We have the board when our guests come in, and it's going to let you know right away that your brisket was cooked at this time and pulled at this time in your smoker.
Really?
It's kind of an exciting thing.
That's-
So all of our guests are going to see that. Well, you're
That's
smoking
important.
meat all day
That's
long.
important. This is
One of the interesting things about brisket, gentlemen, is that it's a 24-hour operation for us, right? So the brisket that you would go into our restaurant tonight for dinner and you eat, that thing was started either last night or in the wee hours.
Oh, really?
So when all of us are napping and having dreams about where we're going to eat brisket and how much pork can we fit in our bellies, right? They're sewing up in the middle of the night, just watching that brisket to ensure that it's following the process and temperature in it and looking at it and to ensure that it's on track to be something that's going to be incredibly delicious and something that you can enjoy when you come in.
That's great.
So
what
we are
Mason's
working
doing
on it
now-
all day,
What Mason's
24/7.
doing now in the restaurant would be happening overnight the night before. It was
Oh,
served.
well, the cooking part, and we've got a little movie magic here, so
Okay.
I hope your palate's ready because
Oh, yeah, we
we're
are.
about to get your palates
Oh, yeah.
excited here.
Yeah, this is great.
So we are almost done. Now there are so many schools of thought on barbecue. It is honestly, I think, one of the most polarizing cuisines in America, and honestly, one of the original and truest forms of American food. You know, hamburger comes from somewhere else. Of course, tacos come from somewhere else, pasta, etc. But barbecue is one of those things that is truly American. And when you have a conversation with someone from Texas, or you have a conversation with someone from Carolina, they'll all tell you that the best way to do it is their way.
Oh.
That's kind of a hard thing when you have a national restaurant chain. So what we try to do is stay as true to regionality as possible while servicing our guests. Now,
Okay.
this last bit right here, this is hard fat. Hard fat doesn't do much good at all. And smoke's not going to get there, flavor's not going to get there. So I'm going to do my best to remove this decal
Okay.
Okay.
without totally ruining my brisket.
I see.
And without cutting too much out. It's a balance, in all honesty. But you see how much more I've been trimming away from this brisket
Yep.
and how much is actually left at the end of the day. It's, it's a process, and it's an event. So this last bit comes out. There's that hard line up in there. And this one piece, because that's going to get dry and inedible, essentially, at the end of it all.
Got it.
Sorry, thank you. And I am good.
That's terrific. So now you're ready to season it, I guess. Is
So
that
now
the-
I am ready to season my brisket. And our seasoning, sorry, I cut this one, it's got a lot of fat up in my decal here. Now, we don't like to complicate seasonings too much. So what we like to use and make it easy.
You sure are making me hungry, Mason.
Sorry.
Look forward to seeing that cook piece
Oh,
there.
yeah.
You know, when are we getting there? Oh my goodness.
We're almost there. I've got to change my gloves because, food safety is important.
Absolutely.
And lastly, sorry,
Okay.
they're not powdered.
No.
You see how powdered gloves make all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
All right.
That's good.
So, keep it easy. Our rub is pretty simple. Salt. We're going to go 2 tablespoons of salt. 2 tablespoons of pepper. 1/2 teaspoon. 2 half teaspoons, 1 teaspoon
Okay.
of paprika. Quick 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. And 1/8 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Now you can go as much cayenne as you want, depending on your fortitude, so to speak. Quick mix, little color, and sprinkle from on high.
Now,
You got to make sure that's even too, correct?
Yes, sir.
So we
That's
call that making it rain. If you keep it too close, gentlemen, the seasoning will pile up in the big lumps. So keeping it high above the board, and don't be afraid to make a mess. A little bit more seasoning around, the better off you're doing here.
I'm gonna make a mess. It's just sadly how it works.
Yeah, but you enjoy it.
Okay, and then a nice quick rub in there, gently.
Okay.
Okay, and one more.
Right on time.
Am I out of time?
Close.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, now we're running out of time. So how long do you cook this for?
And I'm pretty much done.
Good. Okay. Great.
This is gonna go into the smoker for
To
about
Alfred Joe.
into Alfred
Alfred
Joe,
Joe,
for
okay.
about 10 to 12 hours, depending.
Uh-huh.
Now, we'll throw it straight onto our smoker rack, fat side up,
Okay.
and let it smoke for the next 10 to 12 hours, paying close attention to our
Okay.
smoker temperature. And then, through the magic of television, if you'll please excuse me,
Certainly.
You know, that smoker is going to be working harder than either of us do.
well, that smoker is honestly
Yeah.
the hardest working member of our team.
Definitely.
Now, meat on me. Through the magic of television, after those 10 to 12 hours, we're going to pull that brisket out of the smoker, and it should be absolutely lovely. We want a temperature of about 190 degrees.
Okay.
So this guy here went in late last night. We pulled it out this morning. So you guys are getting it as close to out of the smoker as it gets here. So
Okay.
you should expect, tenderness. Some of those seasonings are going to hit the front of your palate, and then the bark's going to play in, and that smoke ring. And then that's when the juice really takes over and washes all the goodness back.
Wow,
So
that's great.
Hopefully your mouths are watering. I know mine is.
I'm ready to
Brisket,
chew
you've got
my
to
way
hurry
through
this
that
thing
plastic.
along here, Mason, because I am starving.
So we
terrific.
talked
This
about
takes hard
bark.
work.
That looks
That
delicious.
bark
Yeah, that really does.
is that beautiful, beautiful darkness that you're looking at right now.
But it's not burnt.
It is. It looks like it, but it is not. Now, I don't know what school you come from, but me, I like fat in my meat. Absolutely.
All right.
So, that
Oh, man.
That looks terrific.
is a beautiful, look at that, actually, look at that.
Yeah,
Oh,
that is beautiful.
that is so juicy. That is some very nice looking piece of brisket.
Yeah.
Now, this, you see that red around there? Mm-hmm. Got that beautiful bark, and then there's a nice smoke ring with fat that's rendered and it's juicy, and we look for it to fall apart. Now, I don't have a glove on the other one. You look for that elasticity, but you see it still
That's
falls
the
apart.
fall aparty thing that
It's
you were
fall
talking about?
aparty. Sorry, I don't have, only have one glove on. It's
Good.
fall aparty, but at the same time, it is not tight.
So team, Mason, just really, I'm sorry, you have to excuse me here. But even though I eat barbecue every day, I can't
Yeah.
help this part. So thank
That's
you.
the.
This is the delicacy. What we say is the caviar of barbecue.
Great.
It is the burnt end.
Wow.
Called burnt end because it comes from the end. Please.
So Al and Joe, you roll up your sleeves if you feel like you
Oh, yeah,
must.
this
and-
is.
Now, I think what we're going to do now is we're going to have a nice little lunch break.
And it tastes just like this in the restaurants, right? This is terrific.
That's right. So
Great.
hopefully you're okay. Al and Joe, we bought lunch for everybody on the set here. Unfortunately, we didn't have it for all the viewers, but we'd love to see you inside of our restaurant soon. Or come on down and, within the next 5 minutes, because these guys said they had a big appetite.
Look into your camera, Michael, and tell everybody how they can download a piece of this meat from your website.
What I'll tell you is, go to redhotandblue.com. We have 17 locations all over the country.
So good.
We would love the privilege of serving you barbecue, whether it's in our restaurant to celebrate a family meal or celebrate an anniversary, or if you have a wedding or an off-site event, we can really take the complication and the difficult time of putting those things together and really make it a one-stop shop, make it easy, and we'll be sure to work hard to impress all of your guests. So thank you so much for having us on the
Michael
show today.
Wilkerson, what a pleasure
an
having you.
amazing opportunity. So thank you,
Absolutely
gentlemen.
great,
We
Mason.
appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Mason
Thank you
Citarella,
very
you're a
much.
genius. It's
Thank you.
delicious.
Thank you very much.
Man, I can't wait to have some more here.
Dig
So good.
in,
Oh, yeah.
please.
We're going to keep eating, but that's it for CEO Chat today. Until next week, until later, we'll be back on in a half an hour. My name is Al
I'm
Cini,
still Joe Osmendy.
and the smoker's name is going to be Alfred Joe.
Alfred Joe at your
Alfred
local
Joe.
Cherry Hill Red Hot and Blue.
Visit the smoker in Cherry Hill, or by all means, go visit a local Red Hot and Blue restaurant. They're terrific. This is terrific food.
Guarantee you won't be disappointed.
Thanks very much.
Come to our barbecue.
Thank you.
Thank you.